Good evening, welcome to the Dugout. It is after some gap that we've had the Dugout, primarily because India-West Indies test match was on. So on the day that you have the test match, we don't have the Dugout as such. Plus on the weekend, we don't have the Dugout. And then anyway, the weekend was hectic with India-Pakistan. For 4 Sundays in a row, we've had an India-Pakistan encounter. And now I think that brings me to the other thought that I just had. Now I don't know when you will have another India-Pakistan encounter.
February.
T20 World Cup.
That's what I'm saying.
February.
Big gap.
You got spoiled whole of September and 1 week of October. Like so many India-Pakistan matches. It's practically a bilateral. Here you go.
Yeah.
3-match series. 3-0 whitewash.
And now all the way to February is when we're going to have the next India-Pakistan encounter. But we're back to focusing on men's team. We did a lot for the women's team yesterday, but now also, by the way, we'll keep a close eye on the Women's World Cup as it progresses from here, because the next few games for India are all against Sena country. So next 4 games, big games, and be watching out for that as well. But before all of those big games would be the mother of all battles, India-West Indies in the second test match.
That day you were telling me I'm using such sarcastic language. When I said the match was pulsating, entertaining.
That you were being sarcastic. You were disrespecting the players who won.
And where is mother of all?
But it was exciting for people who took wickets. Yeah. It was exciting for people who scored runs.
The 100 makers would be very happy with that test match. And I don't mean the English 100, I mean the Centurions.
English 100 though,
no one is happy with it.
Nobody is watching that much. But we also have India-West Indies. So because we'll have few days now for the test match to start, so we'll take time to discuss that. We thought let's address the big issue on hand, and that is our favorite cricketers, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. We're going to be discussing that, and while we've gone in depth as to why the captaincy change may have happened, what is it that the future entails, I think the other, and now again, you know, that debate is done and dusted. Everyone knows what is the thought process behind it. Chairman of selectors has said it. Many people have dissected it, looked at it differently. But the one debate that still remains alive is whether these two will make it for the 2027 World Cup or not. And that is going to be our debate today. We'll try and look at it analytically, critically, whichever way possible. Before we get to that, any latest news?
Yeah, just a little,
as is our custom, we always share news,
little update,
hot from the press.
Since you mentioned about the series, it's happening in that context only. The cavalcade now from Ahmedabad will move to the national capital. We're not too far away from there, NCR region. But heart of Delhi, Rajinder Nagar, that is where...
We may be closer to Firozshah Kootla than a lot of people in Delhi.
True.
That is true.
True, we're about 8-9 kilometers off, I believe. But Rajendra Nagar will be in focus in a few days. Wednesday is the day, I'm being told.
Rajendra Nagar. Stadium is in Firozshah Kootla, which is
Old Delhi side.
Delhi, at Delhi Gate.
You'll have to get 5-7 kilometers away from that.
What is happening in Rajendra Nagar? It's a very nice area by the way. Great food.
Yeah, exactly.
I've stayed there.
You stayed there, I remember, yeah. But yeah, there's a dawat happening in Rajendra Nagar. The one address we cannot share, but we know of. That's the head coach's address. Shane knows it all too well.
No, I don't. I almost knew it, but I don't know it.
What's the joke?
It's something.
I know it. I've stayed there and I've been to the house.
No, I was almost assigned for doing something very regretful outside that house. Very lucky I didn't get that gig.
Yeah.
So what is happening there? There's a dawa, there's a dinner there.
There's a dinner. So the head coach is planning on hosting his teammates at his official residence. And no, at personal residence, not his official residence.
I don't think you have an official residence.
Now he's not. Now he's not an MP.
Yeah.
So yeah, no official residence. His personal residence, and he's invited the backroom staff, the players. They're all expected to turn up on the 8th for this dawat.
Wow. And Rajendra Nagar, as I said, is one of the
Thank
I'm
God we're
guessing
having
he's-
this talk when Siddharth isn't here.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he'll get it cooked or whether it'll come, I don't know. But
Caterer.
caterers.
Seven C's.
That's nice, but then see, it is typically sort of a norm that you're in a city where you're from, and then the person there, whether it's a player or coach, invites you. Not always, but it tends to happen.
We've seen it happen so many times.
Siraj in
Hyderabad, yeah. We've seen that happen multiple times.
Yeah, no, it usually happens. It's also to do, and we can invite. His house is also redone now. Nicely done. So, and it's huge, so it can accommodate a lot of people. It's got a beautiful terrace on top. So
a nice park as well, right in front.
Nice park right in front. So they can have all of them, and they can be treated good food. But so it's going to be a youngish team that will be coming for dinner, not two stalwarts who are not part of the test team. And that brings me to our topic, because the one reason that was given as to why you've looked beyond Rohit Sharma by the chairman of selectors was that it's not possible for the coach to be managing multiple captains, and it's not easy for him to coordinate. So clearly there's a sort of an admission that the decision, while it's been taken by the selectors, it was also in consultation with the coach, who probably thought it is better to have one leader. So that one leader, who's now at least your 2 format captain, will be there for dinner as well.
2 format captain and 1 format vice captain. So technically he holds some sort of leadership role across formats now.
No, and it's a matter of time before he becomes all format captain. They are looking at him, and
Clearly.
Indian cricket would want him for that, and after the T20 World Cup is, I think. what they're
Exactly.
gonna do.
Regardless of where you finish, I think in 2026 T20 World Cup, keeping in mind Surya's age and keeping in mind the decisions that have gone by recently, clearly he's your pick, regardless of whether the trophy stays with you or not.
I don't know whether it's a coincidence or whether all of this happened is primarily because of the change in coach as well. Because every time you talk about a player, you look at the captain and the coach pairing, and it's always looked like Saurav Ganguly, John Wright. You always said it. MS Dhoni, Gary Kirsten. You always looked at it like Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri. Look at Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid, and now Shubman Gill, Gautam Gambhir. So I don't know whether it's a coincidence or whether it is the correct framework, or it's by design that it's best to start afresh when you get a new coach. Like, why couldn't it be the same coach continuing with the same amount of success? I don't know.
It does tend to happen a lot.
I just gave you examples.
And
right?
it's not just in Indian cricket.
Like, why couldn't it have been, let's say for example, that Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid, and Rohit Sharma, Gautam Gambhir.
You missed one very interesting example, by the way. Chappell.
Rahul Dravid. Yes. Chappell, Rahul Dravid. Yes.
That was the other one.
That's what my point is. Why couldn't it have been, let's say, John Wright, Saurav Ganguly, and Greg Chappell, Saurav Ganguly also? Or MS Dhoni, Gary Kirsten, MS Dhoni, Ravi Shastri. Or
There was MS Dhoni, Duncan Fletcher also.
briefly. But I'm just saying, you remember, I don't know, why is there one coach could have had 2 successful stints with 2 different captains?
I mean, you look at Dravid, no. He only pretty much had Rohit to work with. I think he came in when Kohli was at the fag end, when most people didn't realize that he'd be letting go or relinquishing all format of captaincy. Yeah, actually, there's not too many. Yeah, you had Duncan Fletcher, who briefly
But
they won the Champions Trophy. You lost 2 series in England. Those were...
Oh yeah.
So unfortunately, I think that's not remembered as fondly.
Good.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. To an extent, you could say IMS had it with Duncan as
Because
well.
otherwise, if you remember, also there were times you didn't have a head coach. You had just Ravi Shastri as the team manager or something like that. That was his role. Then the right reason.
There was 17.
Yeah. So there haven't been that many who've transitioned and then made, because I mean, who was the player we were looking at as being India's next white ball captain? Hardik Pandya. nowhere to be seen now as far as the leadership. Is he vice captain? No, he's not vice captain. No, he's not vice captain. Unreal.
Oh, they gave reason for that. That maybe because, the fitness is an issue and he's not available all the time. So you look beyond him. But clearly he's out of the race now, the leadership race. It does seem like that. Which I also thought was unfortunate because he had great returns as the T20I captain. But then this excuse was that, no, he's, not fit enough, and then you move forward from there. Now comes that question about whether Rohit and Virat, you see them play in the 2027 World Cup. Before that, there is this, you have to know, before we get to know whether the team will have them or not, what you need to know at the moment is whether they want to play or not. And the common chatter that happens, because both haven't really spoken much, but the common chatter was, which I saw a lot on social media, where people said that they are non-committal about 2027 World Cup, and that sent a message out that they are not sure about whether they will be playing the 2020 World Cup, 2027 World Cup or not, which I believe is not true. So they have not been non-committal. So they have not said that we don't know, because when you say they're non-committal, then that goes on to say that Rohit and Virat were asked and they said we don't know whether we'll be keen to play there or not, so we'll continue playing now. That is the kind of message that goes out, which is not true. The fact of the matter is what Ajit Agarkar said was that now is not the time for us to talk about it, us as in the selectors to talk about it. That was not to suggest that Rohit and Virat are not committed to playing the 2027 World Cup. I don't think that conversation has happened, and whatever I see at the moment, because if you remember, Rohit Sharma had mentioned it on record about the 2027 World Cup previously as well, that he's keen to play that. If you go by the videos that are emerging and him losing his weight and doing net practice is anything to go by, if you look at a Virat Kohli doing the net practice and being in shape is anything to go by, if the fact that Rohit Sharma went to the COA to give his fitness test, or for the matter that Virat Kohli gave that fitness test in UK, if you put all of it together, the indication is clear that they in their mind want to play. Let's say if they were not keen on playing the 2027 World Cup, they didn't have to go through all of this just to play a farewell series, which a lot of people are suggesting would have happened in Australia. I don't think that would have been the motivation. So from what I can read from the outside, they are keen to play, and they are of course seeing themselves playing as the 2027 World Cup. And by the way, both of them will be treated differently, and we'll look at their records and how, of course, you can't club them because Rohit is at a different age group right now, and Virat, there's a age gap there, so they'll be looked at it differently. But as far as I know, that they are keen on playing. So don't go by anything that says that they are not interested at the moment. They've never said anything like that or suggested that they are not sure. Yeah, selectors can have their own thought process, the coach can have his own thought process, where they may not see them playing, whatever that is. I don't know about that. They are the best people to ask. But clearly there is a bit of a doubt. That's why this decision was taken to change the captain, right? And also the fact that Ajit Agarkar mentioned that they have to, keep playing and domestic cricket as well, and we'll keep seeing them, which I think is in a way showing you that they have a doubt and they want to monitor their form, and is also telling them that if they are keen to play, which they could be, they have to continue playing. So to put that aside, without any doubt, unless you guys are looking at it differently, I think what you can conclude is that at the moment Rohit Virat want to play. Whether they play or not is not in their hands. It is.
No. I see. If they really didn't want to play, let's assume we're going with that line of thought. What was stopping them from announcing ODI retirement when they quit from tests?
Yeah.
If they had to, because nowadays we're always looking at it from a tournament to tournament cycle. 2025, in the middle of it, they announced test retirement before the England series. The next ODI thing which you're really looking forward to is the 27 World Cup. That means they had nearly 2 years. If they weren't keen, they could have called it quits right there and then. They want to play.
Yeah.
They certainly seem like they want to play.
Also, I think, when you talk about with Rohit test retirement, with Virat as well test retirement, you saw that the powers were waning. The numbers told you the story. ODI, and we'll have a look at those numbers shortly as well. Top of the head, if I was to also recall, is there any iota of doubt about their credentials in ODI, or is there any
We'll
shred
see
of
those
doubt
numbers.
about whether their powers are waning? I think the answer to that is no, and that's why that retirement post hasn't come in yet, or that announcement hasn't come in yet, and I don't see that coming as well, for the simple reason that the two in some way or the other have also communicated that. Remember Rohit when he was in the US, this was ahead of the T20 World Cup, but then there was a comment that he made about the 2027 World Cup sometime last year, in an event which happened in the United States. So see these things, and it was not him giving a declaration that I'm going to be playing, but it was a subtle comment. It also tells you the psyche of the players. And when I look at form, when I look at these comments, when I look at the desire and the hunger of the two, or let's say the trajectory that the two have had as individual players, and given how close they were in 2023 as top tier athletes, maybe the story could have been different had they won in 2023. But it is the heart's desire of any athlete to be getting their hands on the biggest prize that the sport has to offer.
But why should it be different? I'm saying if I'm Virat Kohli, let me just give you an example. If I'm Virat Kohli, let's say I won 2023, let's say I won it. Why should I not be playing another World Cup? My point is that.
No, the motivation and everything changes then.
Sure,
if you're suddenly not playing, if you're half the time, again, I'm just...
No, but Virat won his World Cup in 2011 also, na?
Yeah, but in his own words, he didn't know what that meant.
I agree, but let's say he won it again. See, because you're winning Grand Slam after Grand Slam, you're not going to leave, right? Djokovic is still playing because he thinks he can compete. It's not, I mean, his record-wise...
Also, we know that he's chasing number 25 as well. There is a big motivation over there.
Exactly. So I see Virat also in terms of why would he not be wanting to add on to his 100 tally, for example. Why would he not want to add to his ICC trophy tally, which he has so many as a player? You will look back and say no other player has so many ICC trophies that he has. So I can't... If I had won that World Cup, or if I was Virat Kohli, someone who was born to play cricket, someone who's always been motivated and wants to win trophies, as he's shown you in the past, that he has that hunger, the desire to keep winning it. That's the winning mentality comes with. Why not?
Small things like now we know he's well settled and happily settled in London. Right, he's spending half his...
How does that...
I'm telling you
You can stay in London and keep playing for India.
You see,
he got his test done later.
Yes, little things like the test. Which we all also spoke about over here. Again, he wasn't the one to come down to Bengaluru and get the test done. And again, that spoke of having different strokes for different folks, right? And it's these little inconveniences of life now that he may not want as a cricketer. He's only playing...
What is the inconvenience in playing for India, please?
No, there's no inconvenience in playing for India. But are we really expecting him to show up for domestic cricket? It's not happened till now. But
it happened last year.
Just that one match, Railways, which didn't even go the full distance for that matter. But my point being, or he got to bat just once, right, in that match.
But what is... Okay, let's say... See, I'm saying... For me, honestly telling you, if I was there, I wouldn't ask a Rohit and Virat to go play domestic cricket so long as they keep getting runs. I agree that many will point out not too many ODIs are happening. Can we see how many ODIs are there that are going to happen in the next one? Yeah, that is the thing. So this is India's schedule till the 2027 World Cup, right? They are playing a total of 24 ODIs as I see it in that period, right? I think 24 ODIs, which is roughly amounting to about 12 in year, right? 12 ODIs in a year is enough sample size for me to keep monitoring them. See, if you're saying there are gaps in the middle and how will they keep continuing and being fit, that is their lookout, how they keep themselves fit or, in the groove or in the touch of things and all of that. That's their lookout. If I'm the person who's the coach or a chairman of selectors who's judging them, I have enough series to keep monitoring their progress, right? So if they are playing, let's say in Australia, they have good series. They have series which are going to be versus South Africa soon after, till the end of the year. They've played 6 ODIs. They've given me an indication. Then in Jan again, they'll play versus New Zealand, right? There's a big gap there. Why do I then have to force them after Jan to play? There is going to be IPL where I can keep seeing their form. So they're playing enough cricket where I can monitor. Yes, my point is, if from here on, let's say they have a bad run, okay? And then you see for a bad run extended 6-8 months, not happening. Then I can put a question mark over there and tell them that I'm looking beyond. But if they keep to play domestic cricket, I think domestic cricket should be for form. That's a good place to go.
You've had a universal sort of a policy now, right?
But
for everyone now, it's happened twice. You've sent people on exile for having not prioritize domestic cricket, and we've heard that enough, that domestic cricket needs to be prioritized, and so much so, which is why you saw these stalwarts also show, because that diktat or that rap on the knuckles came on a couple of players.
So even if you're being very stubborn with that rule, I'll take care of this thing.
Should
also
be right, and if you're expecting
no,
results and
I
consistency.
think, can I be honest, I would not extend it. In red ball cricket, I'll agree with you. And I'll tell you, there are many reasons for that. When in the middle you keep playing white ball cricket through the year, and then red ball demands a different discipline which you're not doing all the time. So it's good to play and shake off the rust that you have. White ball you will be continuously playing, and in white become first nature. Like we say for Virat, best format. He loves test cricket, don't get me wrong. The best formats in terms of performance has been ODI cricket, right? I'll still buy your thing that, let's say, this is it. This is a rule, you have to follow it. Assuming that is the case. If I'm Virat Kohli, you were saying the inconvenience or whatever. If I'm Virat Kohli, I'll also look at it like that. Fine, it's inconvenience, right? I have to do. I go and play those few domestic games, whatever bare minimum.
Happen.
Why not?
It won't happen. Neither will it be enforced. Neither will that.
No, you're saying if I'm saying if you're saying it's enforced. I also say that it should not be enforced. For me, I have enough ODIs to see them play.
No, but
I'm going by your logic.
But this is a policy failure then that it becomes.
Yeah. You pick one. You want enforcement or not? You said you want enforcement. No? So if it is enforced, and let's say that they are stuck, if I'm Virat Kohli, I'll still go play. I have 2-3 years of cricket, quite at best, maybe 2027 could be a swan song. Let's be honest, right? Yeah. Because he's playing only that format. IPL he can continue to play. That's enough. So if that is my goal, it's a question of couple of years where I keep making these trips and playing, even if it's domestic cricket, just for that desire, as we say, of winning the World Cup. You should be able to do it. So I think there are enough ODIs for them to see. If not, you ask them to play domestic cricket also, they should go. Now to the point of what their record is. That's what my point is. If their record is the way it is, see, in T20 cricket, you move beyond a Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. I agree. Why? Because these are good players, but the ones who were sitting outside were even better. And you've seen how that T20 team has been performing. But quite honestly, in ODI cricket, what a Rohit and a Virat, and if you can see those numbers that they've got in terms of their last, and I'm not seeing overall, we just had this. This is the last 2 years only, right? 122 strike rate, average of 48. Incredible with that average to have that strike rate. Virat, incredible average of 65 at that strike rate. So they compensate each other with the strike rate, right? If I have these numbers, I have this experience. They say World Cup is about experienced players who know how to win title, and these two. Why do I have to look beyond? Yes, unless I say the only way I drop them is they have a disastrous 6 months going forward in ODI cricket. But if they continue the form that they've shown here, I see no reason. See, this whole decision that was taken, everyone said this is the Aussie way. And I agree that in our minds we used to always say, because Australia was so far ahead, everything that was done by Australia was looked at. Steve Waugh was asked ahead of that World Cup, out. Andrew Symonds in, Ricky Ponting captain. They took that. Same thing. Much Clark comes. Same thing, Clark left early. Smith. When the time Smith.
Even Healy out, Gill in.
No, but Gilchrist still had to wait.
Yeah.
Everything that Australia does all the time cannot also be the benchmark now. If you have certain players, have to be the Australian way. Why can't, if you have two players, and maybe Australia may be very ruthless and they enjoy getting young players, and I also enjoy moment. What is it? What's the record of some of the young players that are there at the moment who are doing? And these are not the young players who are pushing them, but are part of that team. Who's a consistent? Look at that. Rohit has the same average as him at a much higher strike rate.
Correct.
Okay. If you go into the middle order, KL has a good average at about the same strike rate as Virat Kohli. Completely agree. And he's had a resurgence there. Shreyas Iyer also, lesser. These two have lesser averages than Virat Kohli and better strike rate. So there's a compensation there. So he's doing a fulfillment. So I don't see any player who is really standing out. For example, now people are talking about Tilak and they're talking about Abhishek. Abhishek played those 2 games versus India. Was lukewarm, right?
But there's nothing out
Tilak
there to
also
suggest.
one day was very good.
Firstly, I don't think you need replacements for these 2 guys in ODI
Exactly.
format. There is absolutely no need. In T20Is, I would have been completely with the BCCI had they not reintroduced them in the Afghanistan series also, because that's the indication we were all getting. So I would have been with that decision. Okay, things worked out well for you. You won the T20 World Cup, because we know for a fact that there were better players playing higher risk game, whatever it is that you needed, higher higher tempo. You were getting all of that. Those players were there on the bench. Some of them remained on the bench. Good for India. Things worked out well. At the moment, nothing to suggest. Yes, you've got rich reserves, but you don't have the need to look at your reserves right now. These are doing the job very, very well.
Exactly what I think.
And I mean, I remember these conversations because we were all part of it back then. And we always said that the problem never was with their ODI approach. ODI cricket, in fact, was probably the least problematic of the lot. The 2 formats where they were giving trouble, they've since called it a day. So I don't think you can say that, okay, unless, as Nikhil says, you have like a disastrous 6 months or leading up to the World Cup, suddenly you've got a form drop, then there's a concern. Right now, we haven't even seen anything.
I do see one thing, because now both of them play just one format. I think the one way of ensuring that you're reaping the faith of the fans and the selectors is the runs need to keep flowing, because again 2 months of IPL will always, if they're getting runs, you'll say okay, they look good. If they don't get runs, let's say, then you'll say, oh, it's a different format altogether. That also people will say. So it's just going to be a matter of convenience then, what numbers being looked at, what numbers aren't being looked at. However, the one way of silencing everyone and ensuring that the trust is exactly how it is right now is that the runs in these 24 matches, these guys need a few centuries. These guys needs these averages to hold the water as well. It can't be a sudden drop, because that's where the question marks will begin to pop.
That goes without saying, na?
Because again,
if they don't score runs, who's asking
for Rohit, for example, again with Virat, again there is no fitness question marks over Virat Kohli at all, or skill set or anything like that. Even skill set wise, I would say there was no question about Rohit also. His numbers are looking very good, but this fitness wise, a few questions, and he is no longer.
But he's lost weight. He's looking like young.
He is, but
by the way, even if I look at that fitness thing, and fine, he doesn't seem as fit as a Virat Kohli, but what is the fitness you're looking at? The cricketing fitness. No, he's been playing. He's giving you this runs in the last 2 years only with the fitness that people have doubts over.
The quote unquote fitness.
But because see, it's an aging body, and we're still talking a year and a half, right? The body will also wear down.
How old will he be when the World Cup comes?
He'll be close to 40, I believe.
Close to 40, or no? He'll be past 40.
No, it not past 40, because he was 36 during the last World Cup. But the last World Cup was also played later in the year. So he might be close to 40.
This is also second.
Oh yeah, then 40. Then he'll be 40. Yes. He'll be 40.
Yeah, he'll be 40 plus.
He'll be 40 then.
He would have just gone past 40. How many players who have been 40 plus have played World Cups? Anyone from India?
No.
No India.
The closest before this was Ashwin. He 2023, he was 37. He played one match.
What about Sachin? Sachin would have been 38.
Sachin was around 37 only.
37, 11, yeah. He retired 40 in 2013.
13, yeah.
So it would have been 37.
His birthday is later in the year. In the World Cup.
So 38. So yeah, so he's the closest anyone has come at that age to have played for record.
That in itself would be a
that will be a record. And okay, so there have been how many? Only 4 players in the history.
No, there are others, but a lot of them are from associate nations. Okay. So Canada's and Netherlands and whatnot. These 4 who I've picked are from the full member nations.
Right.
So you've got John Tricos, whose story in itself is very interesting.
But see, off spinner can afford to play. For that.
But the gap was massive. You know, he played for, I think, apartheid era South Africa or something. Then they got pushed back, obviously. He finally made his debut for Zimbabwe.
Yes.
He was 44.
No, I remember watching him. But that's why I've said, you know, tall off spinner. But it really, again, it's you can be that age and still play. There are many who came close to being 40 and playing, like Gooch and Houghton, but they played beyond 40, by the way, or they played ODI cricket.
Sanat
Jayasuriya, till they were 40, just that they didn't play a World Cup. So they were still playing ODI cricket. So in that sense, it doesn't, I know people will talk about World Cup and I'll suddenly say no Indians ever played and only 4 people from like full member countries have played, and they might think, oh, then it's a rare thing. But quite honestly, many cricketers were playing ODI cricket when they were 40, just that it wasn't the World Cup year, or the year before that wasn't the World Cup year.
Yeah.
So that in itself says that you can play. So it wouldn't be too unusual for a Rohit to...
Imran would probably play till he was 40, right? For Pakistan.
Yeah, 90. That was retired. He had retired prior to that.
Oh, and then he came back.
For the World Cup, yes.
Right.
That was his last. But
it's interesting you mentioned off spinners, by the way, because Lance Gibbs was also a
off spinner.
Right. And of course, even Omar Henry, another one, finger spinners. So of course, finger spinners do tend to have a longer shelf life in that regard.
Yeah.
Them or batters. Nabi is 38 in 2023. He's 40 now.
So again, he's doing rather well. He was there at the T20 World Cup. He's playing well as a 40-year-old.
That man is playing with...
So, I mean, I don't think it's unusual if Rohit Sharma goes on to play. And I think that if he has these numbers, he'll continue to play. By the way, a lot of people suggesting that because, this was his talk that for Virat and Rohit, are keen to play for the World Cup. That's another thing, that they themselves opt out and don't want to play is another thing. But I don't see that happening at the moment. At least in Rohit's case, he's made it very clear he wants to play. And I think, as I said right at the start of the program, all the indications coming from Virat also is that he wants to play. So there is no farewell, if you ask me, that Australia series. I think in all of this, the only thing that, and I'll talk more, let's say, from Virat's point of view, because this scrutiny is even being done or people are even talking about it, it has a lot to do with him giving up that test match career, with him retiring from test match cricket. Had he not decided to retire from there, he definitely would have played the England series. Looking at the way that series panned out, I can bet he would have got you some runs as well. And he would have continued to play test cricket. Now, if he was part of your test setup, then you and I wouldn't even be talking about whether he makes your 2027 ODI team. Because eyes closed, he's been your best ODI batter, right? Ever. And continues to be like that. I'm not even saying he's living in the past glory, so how long can you... Even at this point...
23, even the Champions Trophy.
He's still good, the best around the world, right? And if he was playing test cricket, this question wouldn't have come. I think we probably would have just discussed whether Rohit makes the cut or not for 2027. I don't think Virat's name would also crop up. But the fact that he gave up on test cricket so suddenly, out of the blue, now makes people wonder whether, one, because that just increases the scrutiny, because their selectors are now we need to keep watching, we don't have too many ODIs, whether he's in the form or not, that. And secondly, now you're second guessing whether you don't know what he's thinking. To something what Harshit said, and maybe one day he says that I don't want to be inconvenienced by playing domestic cricket. And
no, see, if you start, we've seen the BCCI and it's not happened with too many players, but they've done it. Let's be honest, they've picked and chosen players who they wanted to give that treatment to and who they didn't want that treatment to be given to.
But who didn't get it?
And your stalwarts.
Then
The only players, Ishan Kishan, were the only ones who were...
No, but
in a way, Hardik, I would say.
But that was the start of it. Now, after that, everyone came.
Exactly.
Hardik's made it very clear that he is not available for red ball.
But Hardik was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was playing SMAT for Baroda. So he was playing domestic cricket. He's just not playing red ball, but then he's made it clear for years that he's not playing red ball. He was playing white ball.
And I think the only other exception you kind of made is for Jasprit Bumrah, where...
But then again, that's workload.
Yeah, but that boils down to workload, where the physio... But the fact that they've really now taken a hard line is the fact that he's turned up for the West Indies test matches as well.
Having played the Asia Cup.
Yeah.
But see, even a Rohit and Virat, they played those one-off games, those red ball games. That was just before that in preparation or to sort of fruit. Let's be fair. Shreyas and Ishan Kishan were the kind.
If you're really looking at sending across a message, then you have to have a uniform policy. Simple as that. If you then have these two also play.
No, I agree.
You opened Karun Nair. How did? But if you really want to be very consistent, unbiased about this policy, it is not something, you can't just, it can't be on whims and fancies.
Okay. Can you, if you're watching us live, can you just is fine or not? We'd like to hear from you in the comment section. In case the lag exists, please do write that. If it does not exist, tell us fine or give us a thumbs up. Once we know that, we'll continue with that. Please. Okay, Sarat Chandra, and if that's the case, then apologies. What we're going to do is then we'll wind. But we've taken notes. We'll take notes of some of your, all the questions that you got, and what we'll try and do is answer them tomorrow as soon. If the lag is fine, can you tell us once again if there is lag, if it's improved or not? Give us a question, show us a question, we'll try and answer that meanwhile. And then maybe we can see if... It's fixed now. And while we are answering, you guys please write in the comment section as to whether you are seeing the lag or one, and so they'll let you know. Bharose, a tough time to maintain good PR. He's sacked, neither can bash kill. No. So again, as I said, what is there to whatever. I think the right way to say is you've moved on from him. You've not sacked, been removed. What is sacking? Because when you get sacked, he's a non-performing captain. Tough decision to take. So are you telling me that Shubman Gill can be a better captain? A better captain than Rohit Sharma?
Also, I think that we're still lagging, I think.
We'll try and answer your questions tomorrow then because of the lag today. Would have loved to have answered those questions today.
See, there's that lag and then it gets fixed.
Okay.
So
but see you guys tomorrow. I'll answer all your questions. Apologies. This is something beyond our powers.
Yeah.
This is the bane of our life.
Bye-bye.
Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair. If we are audible, eat your vegetables. Don't trouble your mother. Bye.